Hi, I am Jay Jones, the founder of the Divorce and Custody Success System program, and this is our module on protecting your business. We're also going to address a couple of other things: alimony or child support, and what this thing might cost you. Just a few things we haven't touched on in the other modules, because this module's fairly short. Look, the reality is either you thought ahead on this thing already, or you need to get a professional involved. That's basically the secret to protecting your business. Let's dive into things here. As always, I've got my notes. Look, first and foremost, hopefully if you started a business with your ex or soon to be ex, when you were building that thing, you thought about what was going to happen if you had to divide it up. Not that you don't love each other or didn't at the time, but it's just part of business. But that may not have happened. This is a step that gets skipped a lot in business formation. What happens if we have to break it up? That's okay. If that ship has sailed already, there's still some things that you can do. First and foremost, you're going to want to make sure you get your documents, right? What are we looking at? Hopefully, business assets and business documents and personal assets and documents have been kept separate so that you can just take this stuff and go review it. If that is not the case, you're going to want to get with a professional and make sure that there's a clear delineation between your personal assets and personal accounts and your business accounts and your business assets. Make sure you have a pro help you with that if you're a little turned around with it. It happens, it's okay. Just make sure that somebody can help you divvy it up. Once you've done that, you got to figure out what's the business worth. What's on the table here? What are we talking about? That's called a business valuation. You can get a business valuation done by a third-party neutral expert. I highly recommend this because this way you're not fighting. This is a person that's just there to tell you, here's what the market value is of what you've built. That's their job. That's what they do. It takes a lot of the drama out of trying to decide exactly how much the business is worth. So you're going to want to get a third-party neutral business valuation of your business to understand its value. Now that we know what it's worth, how much of it do you own? That may have been predetermined, all right? You need to look and see if that's already written in some of your corporate documents. If it's not in the corporate documents, it may be in a couple other places. It might be in a prenuptial agreement, but it could be in a post-nuptial agreement. A post-nuptial agreement is just like a prenuptial agreement, but it's something that was done after you were married. A lot of times these things are created when people have created a business after they got married. If it's already in that document, again, stop, go talk to a professional. Look at what your options are. See what it says. If you don't like what it says, see if you have some other ways to get around it. If it's already written in stone, then now you know where you are and what you're dealing with. You may also have a document called a buy-sell agreement. This is an agreement that people come up with when they form a business that says, hey, here's what happens if something changes. If somebody wants to sell part of the business, or if somebody wants to maybe move on, maybe something like a divorce happens, or maybe somebody passes away. This document may actually determine how much of the business you own or how this situation is supposed to be addressed. If that document exists, then again, sit down with a professional and get it reviewed. If it doesn't exist, or if you don't have a postnuptial, you might consider sitting down with your soon-to-be ex and creating a postnuptial agreement or a buy-sell agreement that addresses this issue. Depends how acrimonious things are between you. But if you're in a place where you can get this resolved between the two of you, you've got a rough idea of what you want to do, go ahead and come up with a postnuptial idea or a buy-sell idea and get that down on paper, and then get it reviewed by a professional. This is not the area to try and write something up yourself. Quick note. If somebody tells you you don't need a lawyer, you need a lawyer right now, okay? Do not sign anything in this area without having it reviewed by an attorney. Trust but verify should be your motto, and make sure that you dot the I's and cross the T's by having a professional review any document that you come up with in this area. Let's see what else we have here that might help you a little bit. If you're in a situation where you just can't agree on what to do, this is also an area where you can go to a mediator. You got your valuation, you got your documents. This is another asset that you can sit down and talk about dividing up with a third-party professional. Remember, keep your goal in mind, which is to move on. I know your business, I know my business is near and dear to my heart. Yours is probably near and dear to your heart too. But you can have a third party work with you on how to divide this thing up. The thing to remember is that this is the area where you really need somebody to sit down with you, okay? It's a third-party professional who can guide you through what you need to know to make sure that you get what you're supposed to get out of your business and you divide things up so that you can move on without it being a complete mess now or down the road. This is a DIY nightmare. Don't do that. Get professional help. Now, there are a couple other things that we may not have touched on here that I did want to address since this is our final module. Oftentimes, I get asked about alimony. It's called maintenance in some places. At the end of the day, what am I going to get if I've been married a long time, or what might I have to pay someone if I've been married a long time and I've been the primary earner? Look, this question comes up with child support too, and there's a simple answer, and it's right online. It's called a calculator. If you go to the Google machine and type in either alimony or maintenance calculator or child support calculator for your state, something's going to pop up. Put the numbers in that you have from the documentation that you've already collected. It will spit out a rough idea of what you're going to be paying. Okay? Don't let anybody tell you that you're not going to get child support or that you're not going to get maintenance or alimony if you've been together a long time. The law is probably going to see to it that you get something if you've been married for, say, more than a couple of years. On the other hand, if you're in the position of somebody who's been the primary breadwinner, why don't you run that calculation and understand exactly what you're looking at so that you can negotiate. Sometimes, if you have the resources, you may make a lump sum payment that could actually reduce your overall cost. That's one of those things you should consider. Speaking of cost, what's this going to cost you? What's my whole case going to cost? Here's my 100% unsatisfactory answer to that. It depends. How much you spend depends on how much you fight. Look, you can get an average cost if you want. You can look it up online. If you Google what it costs to, say, have a divorce or custody battle in your state, it will tell you a number. Like in Denver, it's about $14,500. Here's the thing. What's average? Is it 2.4 kids? Do you have a 0.4 kid? I don't have a 0.4 kid. There's no such thing as an average case. Each case is unique, except for this one thing. It's true across the board. The more you fight, the more you'll pay. This is why it's so important to have your mind right and stay focused. Okay? I know that's not the perfect answer, but it's the one that I can give you. If you are looking for a number, go ahead and Google if it makes you feel better. That is basically the end. Thank you so much for going through all of these with me. And I hope that some of this information gave you the basics of what you need to get started in having a successful divorce or custody case and a life after that is just what you dream of. If you want some more help, something more individualized, feel free to reach out. We do that here. We're here to help. Thank you. Take care.